and welcome to episode 1 of Respect Your Mother podcast, hosted by me, Amy Farah.
And me, Gemma Williams.
And me, Liv Pearce.
We're here to try tackle the conversation of climate change, putting it into the perspective of us as young people. How do we collectively move forward with our lives with the surplus of news, debates, strikes, heightened action and lack of real action? What do we do?
How much power do we really have as individuals, and what can we do to make a difference?
What lies have you been told about climate change, and who is really to blame?
So, this year we've really seen the mainstream conversational panic about climate change really take off. You know, we've seen Greta sort of surge her way into the public eye. We saw the biggest climate strike the world has ever seen in September. You know, we've seen, lack of action. We've seen people, going crazy with action. We don't know what's happening, but how do you all feel about this?
Well, personally I'm feeling united. I'm glad that we're finally as individuals and young people able to come together and fight for a really important cause. Mm-hmm. But simultaneously I'm kind of feeling sad because it shouldn't be our responsibility, and we need to be focusing on our education. We're young, we have our future ahead of us, and yeah, it's great to take care of our planet, but it's not our responsibility, it's not up to us.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm feeling like everyone's finally sort of you coming together and sort of agreeing on things and knowing they have to take action, but I'm also feeling quite scared because
it's really
I'm admitting
scary.
that it's like it's scary to think about. But obviously I do want to help. So when I ask what can I do as an individual, it's mostly like eat less meat, drive less, all these things.
Well, that's normally a perfect place to start. When people talk about how we help as individuals, the first thing that's always brought up is how do we cut down on meat and dairy? Because actually, I found this out recently, the meat and dairy industry produces more carbon emissions than fossil fuel companies like Shell and BP. So that's crazy, I know.
Really
so
bad.
The idea is with the free market and this whole thing of sort of supply and demand, we as the consumers have the power. It's kind of like if we stop funding these companies, they will in return make less product and in return make less waste. So that's the idea behind why people want to cut down on that. But yeah.
And the more and more people that are starting to eat non-dairy products, so like oat milk, almond milk, coconut milk, the less money the industry is making. So last year, $1.1 billion was lost in the dairy industry.
Wow,
that is individual. Our impact is changing.
That is
It's crazy. That's
but,
really cool.
Yeah, so I think for me and for many other people, it's like what really is wrong with eating meat? I know you just said, but like what does it actually cause?
Yeah.
And like I think that's confuses some people, because I know it definitely does for me, because like humans have been eating meat forever, so like what is the problem with it now? Like, can you guys give some insight in that?
Well, the weird thing with this is that it's, for me personally, why I became a vegetarian isn't because it's so much ethical for me, it's more the environmental problem. It's less about the meat itself. I think you're right, people have been eating meat all their lives. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with eating meat, but it's more about the mass production of meat. It's how the industry handles the production of meat. You know, the mass reproduction of animals, the insane land mass destroyed, the waste used with, having cattle. That's sort of why there's a problem with the meat consumption.
I agree with you entirely. That's a big reason for me, but also it is ethical with me, because I do feel a little bit guilty when eating animals. Like that used to be alive.
Of course I feel that. But
and my mum especially, when she also turned vegetarian to support me, it was more her finding on Facebook these horrible videos have been posted and feeling guilty about it, rather than the climate change with my mum. But for me, it's both, definitely both.
Oh, okay. So now that we've underlined that issue of like the reason, let's talk about the reality of actually becoming vegetarian. Because I know lots of people eat meat, and it's like probably very difficult for them. I know it's difficult for me. So like, how was your transition into vegetarianism?
Super easy. I mean, my whole family's basically vegetarian. We just had to take that tiny step to basically call ourselves vegetarian. No chicken, really. That was kind of it. Yeah.
It's quite difficult because both my brother and my dad love meat, and my mum has done for a long time, but it was really supportive with her next to me to kind of balance that out, so it was a good balance in my family. But then we've really enjoyed making meals for each other, and it's way healthier and easy.
Well, that's really cool how you say how easy it's been for you, but like I feel like for me, I do like meat quite a lot. Like most meals I have meat. I'm not gonna lie, I do have meat in most meals, so like I think it'd be really hard for me to become a vegetarian. I think that's the same for like loads of other people as well. Like it must be a harder lifestyle. Like what can you really eat in like a rush and things like that? Because it's like you can quick grab like.
Usually go for a ready meal because they're
Yeah.
really tasty, really quick in the oven, but they're sometimes not always healthier because they add extra things that aren't
Yeah.
good for
But
you.
also it's like, it's just normal food.
Yeah,
like your
it's
breakfast
just-
is
yeah.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
Like, you know, pizza's vegetarian, just don't have pepperoni. Like it's
Yeah.
pasta, just you know,
little
replace it
changes.
with some corn chicken,
Corn
that
chicken,
tastes
yeah.
exactly the same. You make fajitas with
corn
some
has
corn.
so much protein in it, it's so
Yeah.
good for you, and it's not meat, so it's better for the
Actually,
environment.
It's funny you mentioned corn as a meat alternative actually, because I had a quick look on Tesco's website and a 476 gram bag of corn nuggets costs £3. I compared this to a 1 kilogram bag of chicken nuggets, which was only £3.15. So there's considerably more nuggets in the 1k bag for only 15p more. So like, how can this actually be a reality for those on a budget or at university?
Well, you don't always have to eat corn. It's more expensive and with less product because it's more of an independent business. It's new, and obviously it's going to be more expensive because less people are buying it. So they need to make it more expensive. But you don't have to just eat corn. There's plenty of other alternatives and healthier alternatives to have.
You know, you have lentils, you have chickpeas, and you know, everything in between. It's just sort of like, that's not what you have to use. There's lots of cheaper other meals. And that's exactly what I'm going to be showing Liv today.
Exciting times.
We're going to teach her how to make a £5 meal under 5 minutes that's completely vegan and is
it's not
suitable
only vegetarian.
for uni. So you can make this at uni, it's really cheap, it's healthy, and we're going to be showing it with a packet of Jamie Oliver's chickpea curry that you can get from any supermarket. And we're going to have a little quick look at how I taught her. So we have with us ciabatta bread, which is only £1. Then we have some pepper, which is only, I think it was like 40p. And we have cucumber, which is about 60p. And we have Jamie Oliver's ready meal. You can get chickpeas, lentils, rice, and they taste very nice. And this was about £2. So it's around literally under £5.
Yep.
So we're gonna quickly wash our veg. Wash it. Wash our veg. Now we're going to make our salads. This is very quick. So take off sort of the big parts. And we're going to make.
It's quite gross.
Gonna make a normal salad. So how many cucumbers do you have?
A lot.
A lot.
You can have as many as you like.
Many cucumbers as you
And
like.
cucumbers, they can be saved. Like they last a couple of meals.
Yeah, I know. So only a couple p of this. You can have that for many, many more meals. So then also the pepper. We can let's use one slice of this. That.
Yes.
All the seeds. Don't want
Like
them.
the cucumber, the pepper can also be used for multiple meals.
Exactly, thank you. So you can cut it in however you like, but I like cutting it like this. And again, you can add so many different things with this. You can buy some hummus, you can buy other sauces, basically anything. But this is like the basics. So you've got your two superfoods, because pepper and cucumber is actually a superfood. So now we're going to put this in the microwave.
Our microwave.
Put it in.
Right.
And while that's a minute, we're going to basically heat up our bread in the oven. So you can have it a bit crispy, but also you can have it like this as well.
Yep.
We have done with our thing.
It smells like curry.
It smells like curry. It literally smells like real curry.
Yeah. So it smells
Open
nice.
it up. That looks really good.
Give it a mix.
Give it a little mix. And when it comes out, it's going to look a bit gross, but trust me, this is very
It's
good.
gonna taste nice. Hopefully, anyway. I've not tried it before.
So this is a vegan curry. A vegan curry ready-made for you.
Yes.
So yes, we're going to do that. It's very good. Obviously that's a small portion, but you can use the whole thing, or you can also put this in the refrigerator and you can have it tomorrow cold.
Yep.
That's also very nice when you have a cold curry as well. It's quite nice.
Like cold
And
pizza.
now we're going to take out our bread. It's nice and heated, and now we're going to cut up a couple slices.
Very nice.
And
You don't have to have bread with it.
you don't have the bread, you can have other forms of carbs, but obviously this can just be a meal on its own, but it's good to have some carbs as well.
Yeah.
With this as well, you can obviously get vegan butter, which is just margarine, which is very cheap, and you can make it, or even better, you can just literally have some olive oil, some balsamic vinegar, a bit of salt, and that is literally a perfect dip of some sort. So this is your bread, and you literally just drizzle over the top a tiny bit of olive oil, like that.
Yep.
And if you want, a little bit of balsamic vinegar. 5 5-minute, £5 vegan meal. Woo! Now for the taste test. So,
I'm gonna get a bit of bread.
a bit of nice bread. Oh, smells so good. Add a bit of the curry. So you can see in this rice, chickpeas, lentils, all your spices. That is literally a full meal. And then I'm gonna put a piece of cucumber on top.
I'm gonna eat the cucumber separately.
I really like that.
Thumbs
There you
up.
go. Thumbs up. Bye.
Well, I have to say,
It's good.
surprisingly, it was really nice, and I was
I
was so shocked because when I looked at it, when I read the packet, it was like lentils and like all that stuff. I was like, oh god, because I didn't realise that I liked
any of that.
Yeah, like no, I eat the plainest food. There
Well,
was like
then, Liv,
beans.
Did you know that half a cup of lentils is the same amount of protein, or even more protein, than 3 ounces of chicken breast?
I actually didn't know that. And that's
Really
crazy.
good.
And I think that's really good for people to hear because people think like chicken.
Just
Like
protein.
protein. Like you can clearly get protein at other sources, so it's not unhealthy to become a vegetarian.
But yeah, that's a perfect little example of how anyone can also make a vegan meal for cheap and quick.
Yeah, so through this I've realised that I don't think I'd be able to become fully vegetarian just because how fussy I am. Like I think it would just be really hard for me and difficult. But I've realised that I think eating less meat just generally helps anyway. Like I found out a fact that if you and your family eat skip meat and cheese for 1 day is the equivalent to taking your car off the road for 5 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a perfect reason for, because normally when people think about vegetarian and vegan, it's like this kind of big lifestyle that you have to sort of like
Big
embrace,
change.
and it's this whole thing. It's like that alone. It's like you could just make a meal with your family for 1 day, and
just
that
have
makes
a
a
veg- just have a
a vegan meal, and it does, and it just makes that difference. So it's really accessible.
yeah.
So guys, it's the 28th of November, Christmas on its way.
Yes.
I'm very
Oh,
excited.
goodness.
So very fun.
Oh,
Christmas is
my God.
Yes.
but
We love Christmas.
it's the time of year people tend to go way overboard. There's food, presents,
Yep.
and just waste. And are there things we can do at Christmas time?
Yeah, I think
To
so.
change our
things.
impact?
Well, you wake up on Christmas morning, you go down, you see all your presents under the tree, and you're there, and you're really happy, you're unwrapping all your presents, and it's a great time. Then once you finish, you look around, and there's just paper everywhere. And what's the need for that?
Paper,
What's the
everything.
need? It's
So-
a lot of waste.
An alternative for that would be to use brown paper wrapping instead. So instead of that, like the cheap plastic stuff you buy where it has all the Christmas decorations and stuff, that is just completely plastic, the film on top, so it's actually not very recyclable.
Yeah.
Whereas if you use brown paper
Or
or newspaper, that's fully recyclable, and you can find that cheaper actually because
and
it's around your house.
avoid using sellotape because when that's attached to paper, you rip it and the paper is usable
Yes.
again, so you can't use that again.
Yeah.
If you want to
But the
cut
brown
around it,
paper
but-
you can reuse.
and you can use ribbons and bows to tie the paper together.
It looks
Fold
more
down.
authentic.
It looks way more
Having a
authentic.
really nice like brown paper, like it just looks
Mm,
nicer.
yeah,
It
it's
looks
very
neater.
nice.
A little more effort into
Yes.
wrapping.
Yeah.
There's waste with food. We just tend to think we go crazy at Christmas.
Yeah.
We're like 10 times hungrier for no reason. We buy like 10 bags of Brussels
Yeah.
sprouts when we can buy one. It's like, just take a deep
Yeah.
breath. Don't go overboard with consumption.
It is ridiculous. Honestly, in 2014, 4.2 million Christmas dinners were wasted.
It's
Wow.
insane.
And think about, that was 2014. We're now in
What is it now?
2019.
Yeah, 5 years.
It's probably
way
way
more.
more. So
And any food
Do
you've
we
got
need
left
that?
over that's suitable, give it to your food bank.
Yeah,
Because some
help
people
them.
in need, they're hungry more than you. So
Yes.
help them out.
In terms of presents and stuff,
Presents, yeah.
gifting young kids, one of the biggest things with that is you buy them so many plastic toys that they forget about in a year.
yeah.
Replace that
They
with
don't even know what they are.
experiences.
Yeah.
Replace that with going to the zoo, something like that, or going to like.
Charity shops as well, they sell
Yeah.
tons of toys.
Yeah, get second-hand toys. Honestly, they'll appreciate it. They'll appreciate
and
it
the money
just the
goes to
same.
charity.
Mhm.
You're doing a good
And-
cause.
Yeah.
And also, when you're done with your toys, like maybe it's like 2 years later and they're not using them anymore, donate them around Christmas time to charity
Yeah.
shops or like hospitals where they need it for kids.
schools.
Or gift
Yeah.
bins in your local supermarket.
Mhm.
They do them everywhere
Mhm.
and they're never full, which is really sad to see because they're
Yeah.
kids that are in need.
Yeah. So it's just being more conscious about what we buy, what we consume. It's an advertisement's like dream Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a consumer's
Yes.
dream. It's just buy, and just be a bit more conscious.
And
Yeah.
to finish it off, did you guys know that around Christmas time, NASA actually reported the world is 50% brighter than it normally is?
Wow,
That's
that's
crazy.
so crazy.
Wow.
It's not needed
Just
as
from
well.
Christmas lights.
Yeah. So just
my
switch to
goodness.
solar panelled or LED lights, and
They look the same. They look the same.
LED lights actually last 20 times longer
They do,
than normal
yeah.
lights. So
And then you're
my
going to
God.
complain about
Wow.
electricity bill at the end of the month, so
Yeah.
don't help
Save
yourself out.
yourself
little
some money.
changes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very cool.
Honestly, be wise this Christmas.
But have fun.
Yes,
Take
obviously,
the burden
we're
on your
gonna have
shoulders.
fun.
So, talking about individual power, so we've talked about, what we do, little things, or what we do with the consumer kind of lifestyle. Have you guys heard about the 20 million tree Mr. Beast project?
No, I don't think I
I
have.
might have.
So, Mr. Beast is basically this YouTuber. He makes these crazy videos that are just like, giving a homeless person £100,000 or like, giving my mum like 7 Lamborghinis. It's like, he's like a crazy YouTuber. And basically, he recently hit 20 million subscribers and they spammed his chat to do a 20 million subscriber special where he plants 20 million trees. And he actually did it. So he he teamed up with Team Tree where they plant a tree for every $1 you donate. So they literally just planting trees for every $1 you donate. So we had like big CEOs, big companies donate literally thousands and millions to this company, and they're now currently at 16 million trees planted.
That's
So they're
great.
nearly at their target of 20 million. So
Wow.
how does this make you feel when you've got like the biggest influencers? You've got Elon Musk, you've got PewDiePie, you've got the CEO of YouTube donating millions, are making these changes. How does that make you feel? Like, should it be left up to our money? Should it be left up to us?
Yeah, I think it's great that we're given the opportunity, rather than just saying you can't do anything to help it. We're given that chance to give out money that we might not be needing as much to a good cause, and it really helps us psychologically to feel like we're making a difference.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's really good what he's done. Like, it's amazing that he's planting and he's still going. Like, he's at 16 million and he's going to go to 20.
And getting kids involved as well.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and people have been talking about it. I've donated all this money, I've donated this, and it just sounds amazing.
So, how does it make you feel
Oh god.
when you learn
I'm worried.
that 7 billion trees are cut down every year,
Yeah.
which would have meant that Mr. Beast would have had to plant 20 million trees every single day for the entirety of 2019 for it to be a net neutral year of trees, deforest and planted.
That's insane.
Just for 1 year.
That hurts my brain.
And then not even at 20 million, at 16 million.
That angers me actually, not quite a lot.
So how does that make you feel in terms of like even the richest people right now, like the big influential YouTubers, these celebrities, like CEOs are donating millions and it's still a pinprick in terms of change?
Well,
I don't know, it just...
that makes me angry because I think there's loads of people out there, there's millions of celebrities and everything, and they've got so much money, so I don't understand why they're like, yes, we're going to
we
donate
would want to do it if we
this
had
one
that money.
charity,
Yeah,
to this
why
one
can't-
20 million tree thing when they could just do that themselves.
I know, but
like-
it's just crazy, it just puts it
And
into
they're putting the guilt
perspective.
onto us
Yeah.
when we give a pound, like £2 away with it.
And
We
we-
planted 2
yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
But, like, that's cut down in a second.
Yeah,
Like,
more than that in a
yeah,
second.
and
It's
it's
just
more than a
crazy, it just
second.
makes you feel like what can you even do as an individual?
Yeah.
But on
shouldn't
top
be
of
our
that,
responsibility.
I know, but on top of that, we feel like, even these rich people aren't making a change and everything. But have you guys heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch?
Yeah, I think so.
I do not know.
So it's this huge garbage patch that sits between Japan and America. It's huge. It's the size of Texas and can fit inside 3 UKs. It's literally
Wow.
being like told that it's actually like a literal state, like a continent.
goodness.
It's huge.
It's got a name.
Yeah, it's got a name. It's a country. But so it's just floating around. It's destroying wildlife. It's horrible. It's disgusting. I mean, the images are like so shocking. It's just basically plastic pollution from both sides of the world.
Yeah.
And it would estimate to clean up all of that would take around 700 million or like 800 million, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like what country would even pay for that? Like who owns it? Like just, it's crazy. It would be so much money. But then to put that into perspective, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, makes 1.5 billion a week.
A week?
Oh
Yeah.
god, that's
my God.
so ridiculous.
So like when you think, it puts
That's
things into
ridiculous.
perspectives of like, so we're told we have to help.
Yeah.
And it's our money, it's our donations, it's like up to us, guys.
Yeah, that's.
But then people are literally
no.
sat there with like an hours of their wage could clean
Yeah,
up. Like
that really.
it's just,
I really don't.
know,
I
it's
can't wrap my head
ridiculous.
around that because why would you you're gonna make that money again the next hour, so you're not even gonna see it missing. But if you did that and you cleaned that up, you'd be a hero, and
I know.
and the world
Yeah.
would praise you, and you would be like the greatest person ever. Why would you not want that?
I know. But it just puts it in this weird perspective of like, what are we doing? Like, where do we stand? It's so strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's ridiculous. I can't believe that.
wow.
Speaking of our individual impacts,
Yes.
guys, we did our carbon footprint.
Oh yeah, we did do this.
Right. Look at our socks, guys.
Oh yeah.
Look at our socks. We all have matching socks. Save the
Carbon,
planet.
find our carbon
save the animals,
footprint.
Save the world. The dolphins, the polar bears, the pandas. Save the world.
So we did our carbon footprint. So
Yes.
we all,
So basically, we went to WWF website. You guys can do it too.
Mm-hmm. It's easy.
It's really fun as well because you get to see. Well, not fun. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's kinda sad,
actually.
but you
Yeah,
get to
it's quite
see
sad.
what you're
It's
actually
like a quiz.
producing.
See, yeah, your impact. So I put into a grid.
Mhm.
And I know the answers, and I know who has the worst and the best carbon footprint. But as for punishment, Amy, do you want to tell?
Oh yeah. To make it more exciting, we have punishment. So the person who is producing the most who has the biggest carbon footprint, has to do a punishment. So for us, we have to eat vegan for a week, and for her,
The meat eater.
the meat eater, she has to eat vegetarian for a week.
Yes.
Which doesn't sound hard, but it will be hard.
It does.
So we have it split into different sections like travel, food, home, and just general stuff. And we have, you can obviously see on the screen now, different like percentages of how much carbon is actually used per person with that stuff. So we have to guess through our lifestyles and being friends, we should know this, whose is whose.
I think we will have a pretty good idea.
Just trying to figure out how to
what's going on.
screen record.
There you go. Okay.
So we need.
Click. Just click it. No, click. Just click the screen. There, it's recording.
So where is it? Here it is.
I'm not good with it. No.
Oh, we put the results up. There we go.
Right, we've got it.
Okay.
Stuff.
Right,
so
okay. I'm excited.
Is it definitely
So
recording?
let's start
then?
with yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
Let's start with
So if we start with travel, so travel is down here.
So we've got 60%.
60%. Who travels the most out of all of us?
Well, these
then-
two travel a lot, but it's by train.
Always by train.
Like it's like they travel so much and by train. But then also think about planes. You don't go abroad very
I don't go
often.
abroad.
We go abroad
abroad
quite a
a lot.
bit.
She goes. I don't go that far. Like the furthest I've been on a plane is like 4 hours. You've been to Japan this
year, so that would
summer.
mean a lot that I went to Japan this year.
So what?
So-
I don't
I'm
know.
thinking
But
Amy.
actually, she travels by car every single day. We travel by
Yeah.
train
Oh, yeah,
every
every
single day.
day.
2 years.
Yeah. So
So
I think
maybe
the
Liv.
lowest is Gemma.
Okay.
I think
Because-
34 is going to be Gemma, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And I think the 51 is actually going to be Liv.
Yeah, I think so
I think
too.
I've got the 60 from just...
I think so too.
Because the way that it does it in the website,
And
it does how far you go.
So Liv 51.
I say the
I think
51.
me 51, Amy 60
I think it was
because
that Japan holiday.
Yeah,
Went out the bounds.
And then
Of,
so
like,
Amy, 60%.
no need to go to Japan.
So, food, it's a weird one. I don't understand how they do food because I think most of it is if you buy it from like a restaurant and then throw it away.
Okay.
Because if you have food, and it's as well if you get it farm locally produced,
Okay.
that brings your percentage down. So,
They're
9%.
quite close.
yeah, they are quite close.
Considering you're a meat, like, meat
Yeah.
Yeah,
eater.
and then it's also classed with vegetarian.
Oh, right, yeah,
You're
yeah.
vegan. So, who do you
Okay.
think?
So I'm guessing I've got the highest because I eat meat. I'm just putting that.
Okay,
out
I
there.
might just put the... Oh, I don't know. Why
But then
who's
I
got
also-
the 9%? Because
but
we
then
eat the same.
I work at a
Ooh.
farm shop as well, so I get a lot of food from there.
But how
It's
does it
less
know?
not in the.
How did it
grid.
know? What were the questions?
Oh, it would be
No.
good if it was, but.
Okay, I'm going to
Mine
say
would be low if it was.
14% Liv.
Yeah.
Is it Liv?
Okay.
Yeah.
Highest.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, was there a
Not
question
really.
like how often do you go to restaurants?
I think
Yes,
there was a question about how much you buy from takeaway.
Mine was like never.
Never. Oh.
Okay, I might say
I think it's
I think
less than
13% is going to be mine. I have no idea why. It might be because I go to restaurants.
Yeah.
I think Gemma's going to be the
Gemma's 9. Yeah.
I don't know why though. I don't know why though.
Yeah,
Why
I
would it
don't
be
know.
so?
I don't get it either.
Because we are both we eat the
Yeah.
same. Okay.
Next
Okay,
one.
home.
Home.
So
is
that's
that
like electricity, how
Yeah.
much water
Mhm.
you use. You know,
Think about your house
30-minute
size
showers.
as well. The size of your house.
I don't
How
have
much
30-minute
electricity?
showers.
You do have 30-minute showers. She does.
It's my hair. It's too long.
Why? Okay.
Okay,
So
so
also
to
think
me-
about how much central heating you use. So around Christmas time, how hot?
Oh, we're
do
not
you
allowed
like
to
your
put
house?
heating on, so I'm definitely 16.
I'm
please,
100% 26.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's put lift.
I have really long showers. Sorry, I don't know why. I try and do it
Sorry,
quickly,
I'm
but
not
like
good
I
with
have a
words.
routine, and so it doesn't go quickly. And then also we put our central heating on quite a lot. Like the other day, I really don't want to admit this, but the other day we had a open fire on, like with logs and stuff,
Yeah.
and we had our heating on.
So we're thinking live 26.
So yeah,
I think
me high.
You're 16
I'm
as well,
high.
and then lift 26.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the final one stuff, this
that's
is to
buying.
do like your iPhone, your TV, how much you bought in the past year. It's really based on
Beauty products, all this stuff.
Yeah, how much you buy a month, how much you spend on clothes once a month, how much you spend on food, your pets once a month.
I think 19% is me.
19%
I think 27% is me. Because I buy a lot of clothes.
also to do with your monthly subscriptions. So if you've got like a Netflix and Amazon,
I do, but I don't pay for that, so does that count?
I still think I'm 20. I don't know. I think
I am the highest.
I think
because,
15.
because I do buy a lot of clothes, but I have gone down. I've definitely gone down. Haven't I, guys?
Yes,
you have.
I have definitely. I've only bought like one clothing item this month.
Okay, so the total carbon
footprint.
I think.
What's this measured in?
It's basically overall, so how big your footprint is, and then we can actually compare it to the average for the world.
Okay, so what I think 18 is going to be lips.
Yeah.
18 lips.
And then I think I'm going to be the second one. I'm going to be 11.
11.2.
Yeah, and then Gemma's
going to be 10.
Okay.
Although we're quite close.
Yeah, we are very close.
That's if that's
so these are our final results.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I did it, I didn't really understand some of them because I saw it and I was like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'll show you guys the answers because you're kind of close. Some of them are a bit off.
Oh.
But I'll compare the two together. So I bring this one here. And then these are the actual results.
Ooh.
So we're right with the carbon footprints total.
I'm 60 with travel.
Yeah. I know, it's weird.
Wait, I put you as 60 for... Oh!
No, because
it's because you travel by car every day.
Yeah, but guys, right, I'm not being funny. I live in the middle of nowhere,
so
and I can't...
60, no, I know, it's just interesting to see. So
but that's crazy.
So we thought... Okay, so we thought Liv was...
I got 9% on food.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Okay.
How does that work?
I don't know how that works.
We've just talked for so long about vegetarianism.
Yeah.
What was it based off of?
I don't... We have to look into it because I didn't understand it while I was doing it.
That makes... No sense.
I think it's because I don't eat out very often.
I think they were maybe based off waste. I don't
waste either.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Yeah, but like I eat quite a lot, so like nothing's like ever.
How much did you? How much did you pay when you go out to eat?
Like under £10, like so hardly ever go out.
That's really weird.
Okay, well look
wait.
at
So
that.
who got?
So who 26? Who got the
most?
I had the most for home. I think that's because I have 4 houses. 4 houses? I have 4 rooms in my house.
Oh, I have.
And you guys have only like 3,
yeah,
don't you?
I have 3. My house is really small. Actually, yeah, your guys' houses are much bigger than mine.
Gemma's got the most stuff.
I have the most
27%.
I don't understand that either because I haven't bought like a whole new kitchen in this year like you have.
Yeah, Amy bought a whole new kitchen. I spent over £150 on
I put like 10. I don't know how it works.
Guys, we got the total right.
We got totals right, so unfortunately...
What does that mean?
That means you're
Olivia.
going to have to eat vegetarian for a week.
Oh no.
I was like, so we got close.
My food's going to go down so much.
Yes, it is.
But anyway...
Wow, that was really interesting.
Let's take a quick break.
Yes, we're going to move on to our sponsors, our kind sponsor of this video, Raw Halo.
So join us after the sponsor where we talk more about where the government sits in all this. We've seen us, what we do individually, but where's the government? So see you right after the break.
Bye. This video is sponsored by Raw Halo, a company providing us with a small amount of raw ingredients combining to form ethically made chocolate.
Not only are their ingredients fair trade and organic, this chocolate can be eaten by anyone.
It's true. Raw Halo uses all plant-based ingredients, including cacao powder, coconut sugar and lucuma powder. So whether you're vegan, vegetarian or gluten-free, or looking for a healthy alternative to satisfy those chocolate needs, Raw Halo has your back.
This is a big chocolate enthusiast, absolutely loves dairy products and everything in between, and she's going to be trying Raw Halo.
She will be trying the milk and vanilla flavour.
Ooh! Yummy.
It's exciting.
The packaging is so nice.
Yeah, I love the
It's
packaging.
so appealing.
Cute.
Oh my god, I can smell it. I can
This is
smell
exciting.
it.
So have you tried vegan chocolate before?
Yeah, and I didn't like it.
Oh, okay, so she's not liked vegan chocolate in the future.
There's a piece snapped off right just for me. Ready? Nice textures.
Good, good.
I can really taste the vanilla.
Good.
You liking it?
What's the verdict?
It's very nice.
See,
I could eat a full bar.
so even a dairy enthusiast who doesn't actually like vegan chocolate approves Raw Halo.
Yummy.
As well as the milk and vanilla, Raw Halo also do dark and salted caramel and dark and pink Himalayan salt.
As well as this, for every 50 bars sold, Raw Halo will plant 1 tree to help out those countries who source their ingredients.
Raw Halo has also kindly given us a discount code for 25% off your next order. So just use at the checkout RYM25 and you can get 25% off. Thank you, Raw Halo, for sponsoring this episode of Respect Your Mother podcast.
Welcome back.
Hello.
We're back.
So, we've discussed our individual power. We've seen what we can do with, corporations and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But where does the government sit in this? Because with something this major, this huge, we kind of assume the government should be kind of stepping in. It shouldn't really be left up to us because this is on the same scale as sort of war or kind of a global crisis. So the idea is to try and create sort of a global climate policy where all countries are on board with the same problem. But the issue with that is politics is petty, people in charge are petty, it's literally high school. We had the recent 2019 UN climate summit. It was, described as one of the worst climate summits because of how, how wet the proposals were, how dumb. I mean, the second contributor to the climate disaster is America, and their president walked out halfway through the climate summit.
Wow.
Yes. China, one of the biggest polluters, said some dumb speech about democracy, and we all know what happens over in China, so it just was horrible, and it just let down young people because literally a week before then was that huge climate strike. It just,
It's really disappointing.
it's disappointing. But the big thing with this is what are governments even doing? You hear so many weird, crazy stories where you're just why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Have you got any? Because it's just there's so many.
As you may know, the Amazon fires have recently been going on.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And the Amazon actually lost over 3,000 square miles of rainforest in less than a year. And their the president of Brazil, said not to worry because it's going to keep happening because it's cultural.
And what does that even mean?
The whole reason it was happening was because of mining and agriculture, and
everything.
he's opening it up more to that
Because they want the economy to grow, don't they?
So this is literally the lungs of the world that he's ruining.
Because Brazil's got to grow as an economy. Come on, get to your head.
I can't fathom it.
Yeah.
It's how ridiculous he is. And also, the National Space Institute, he actually accused them of manipulating their data. So their pictures of the
fire and
rainforest
stuff.
and their data of
Why
all the
would
species.
they do that? What's the purpose for that?
He accused them of manipulating
So
the data.
like,
And he's actually fired the chief.
so he thought
Because of
they
this.
photoshopped the pictures to make it worse than it actually is. Oh my god.
He cares about his image that much.
And I mean, we're not talking about some petty thing that's in one country and it'll only affect sort of Brazil or something. I mean, this is literally it's described as the lungs of the world. It's the most important forestry.
And it's beautiful. Why is he not proud of what he's got? In his country. I can't fathom my head around it, to be honest.
No.
But other countries are sort of trying to help this.
Yeah.
So the French president threatened to pull out of a long sought after deal with Europe and South America. But the thing I don't get is the president's literally admitted that it's not going to stop. These fires are going to keep happening, and France have threatened, but they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to make themselves look good. I think. I don't think they're really going to do anything.
It's crazy. There's so many other things as well.
Yeah, obviously you all know this lovely human being.
Oh, he's so lovely.
Trump.
My favourite person.
Yes. Well, for those of you, probably you will know, he had decided to pull out of the Paris Agreement this year.
Which
was signed in 2016.
It's one of the biggest agreements.
It's going to take a year for him to actually get out of it completely. So why waste a year's length of time when you could put so much more time into actually realising this is actually happening?
And it doesn't do, you being in it, how is that affecting you personally?
Exactly.
And actually I have another fact to do with that. One of the other things he's doing is there's something now put in cars when they manufacture new cars, it sort of controls the carbon emissions to just try, it's in the catalytic converter that makes it not as bad, the pollution. He's now deciding, he's trying to put through a policy to take that out of all new cars made in America because he quotes, says it's a burden on the American society that's in there.
Wow.
What's that doing?
How is that affecting him?
Yeah.
Apparently
it's just stopping your car when you stop.
Yeah, you know when you have those sort of new cars and they stop and it turns off the engine just so you don't, you're not constantly producing, and then when you go
and
off
it saves your petrol.
Yeah.
So this is going to annoy loads of people.
And he literally goes we're taking that out of all manufactured in that
My
country
goodness.
because it's a burden and it's like not useful for the American society.
The
my God.
only positive with this is that it's only finalised when after the 2020 election. So if he's re-elected,
Then it's
it will
problem. It's a
have
really big problem.
But if
Yeah.
not, we have a chance that
To
Yeah.
bring him, yeah.
that's the
Well,
impressive
yeah, I
one.
suppose. But
But there's just so many little, they're just huge things that when you find out the
Yeah.
reason why they're doing it, you're just like, what is happening?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, so-
why are you doing that?
like America's best friend China,
China.
they have the most solar powered energy in the world.
Wow.
But this is quite funny actually, because there's no point them having these solar panels because they've got that much pollution in the air that the sunlight does not reach the solar panels.
Wow.
So
Oh
they
my
don't
God.
work.
Well done,
So-
China. Well
Yeah,
done.
they're just
Oh my
they're
God.
just showing to everyone, look at all our panels, we are trying to save the world. No,
They don't even
the sun
work.
doesn't even reach them. So
Oh my God, that's
And-
crazy. Because I
yeah.
actually saw a fact like that the other day. Like, you know, I searched up, because I was trying to find some facts, and I searched up the solar panel thing.
Yeah.
And they said China had the most solar energy. And I was
Yeah,
thinking,
that's
that's
great,
actually
yeah.
quite good, but I never knew it was like they
No.
don't even work because their pollution
Yeah, no,
doesn't
they don't
go in.
they're also trying to help, but they're moving
Yeah,
these factories.
yeah.
They're moving the
Yeah.
factories that cause the pollution to less populated areas.
Oh, just to
So
put those
saving
areas.
like maybe 100 people.
Very good.
Really good in China,
on
but
that.
like in the
Well
long
done.
term, what's that really going to do?
Nothing.
The pollution's still going to reach them. It's still in the air. Like there's no point. And air pollution's the fourth biggest killer in the world. So behind like heart disease,
like diseases.
like a disease that can't be like fixed. Like, wow, there's no
Yeah,
cure.
there's no like proper
currently.
cure. Yeah.
So they're like, it's like along with a disease, like it shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. So
Wow,
it angers me really.
But the weird thing is, it's like we have the science, we have actual facts that are proving how unbelievably scary this is. Like, for instance, 50% of all carbon emissions produced have been produced in the last 30 years.
My goodness.
50%. We always think, oh, you know, it was
Wow.
the Industrial Revolution, you know,
Yeah.
that smog and that produced like so much.
Oh,
50% in the last 30 years.
That's crazy. That's like
That's not even a
we've
person's
been,
lifetime.
We've
That's
been
like,
alive for half of that, more than half.
I know. So that alone, how does governments not look at that and go, yeah, no, that's not sustainable? They're just looking at that going, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
And,
don't worry. Don't worry.
There's things we don't even think about. For instance, there's something called permafrost, which is this ice in the coldest parts of the world.
Yeah.
And it's never melted in human history because it's been stuck there for like basically
Yeah.
centuries.
It's melting, doesn't it?
And it's starting to melt, right?
No,
And you're thinking,
brilliant.
it's just ice, like, what's like the problem with that?
Oh,
But basically,
Lots of problems.
scientists have found in this permafrost diseases and microorganisms in this frost that have never been released while humans have been alive. So we
Okay.
physically,
Wow.
so we physically don't
Listen
understand.
to this. Listen to
We
this.
don't understand what that's going to do to the human race because humans have never been immune to this. They don't know what's inside it. That's
Oh
literally
my
like alien
goodness.
life landing because
Yeah.
humans have never come in contact with this.
That's
They've also found, I
terrifying.
know, they've also found the bubonic plague stuck in there, the Spanish
Oh,
flu.
have they?
You know,
oh,
this
wow.
century we've never experienced that.
You
So
know, when you used to chuck people in like all those dead people in one
Yeah,
pit.
we'll do that again.
I
It's
think that's
fine.
going to happen again.
But
Yeah,
it's just
nice.
these things, because normally when you say, oh, the ice is melting, I know it's really selfish, but you kind of think like, but it's just like ice, like,
Yeah,
you know,
like,
it's
what's
just
gonna happen, like,
ice, like, what
yeah.
you do. But then it's those things you just don't think about. On top of diseases, malaria will come up north more
Oh.
because it'll be milder, so mosquitoes can actually
Oh,
breed up
lovely.
the north.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Just things like this you just
Yeah.
don't think about,
Yeah.
and you just go,
Did you guys know that if the planet is to heat up 1 or 2 degrees more, just because of air quality alone, 150 million people will die? That is the equivalent of 25 Holocausts.
oh my god.
Really?
Just from air quality alone,
Really?
so that's not even like the flooding due to
No,
the rising
natural
sea levels, natural
disasters.
disasters,
Oh my God.
diseases from that permafrost. That is
Yeah.
just from air quality.
That's
25 Holocausts, and that's just
ridiculous.
1 to 2 degrees more.
That's ridiculous, and that is just upsetting.
Also, I have another fact. I have so many of these. They're horrible. I don't know why they're in my head. But there's another one that is because humans have never been alive while the planet has been this hot. I mean, the planet's been hot before, but
Yeah.
not for this reason, why it's been hot. But humans have never been around when it's been this hot collectively. And there was a thing that happened a couple of years ago in Russia where one summer, an entire species of reindeer just died. Just completely out of nowhere died, like dropped down dead. People were like,
It's really
what is
sad.
happening? No other reindeer
Like
died.
the whole
just
species?
whole species extinct in like
Wow.
a day. And they tried to figure out what it was. And basically there's a bacteria in the reindeer's gut that they never found before. It's just like a dormant bacteria. And because it was a really hot summer on record in Russia, these reindeers have never been exposed to that type of temperature, and that bacteria thus had never been exposed to that temperature because it's inside the reindeer. When they had been exposed to that temperature, it was the perfect like amount of heat. It woke up that bacteria and it killed the entire species. And there was a scientist that was talking about this, and they said, we don't even know there's something in us.
Yeah,
that's really scary.
Because we've never been on the planet with this height of temperature.
Oh my god.
Like one day, it's just things like that you just don't think about, and it's
like,
so,
why would you want that? Like,
either.
why would you actually want that?
Yeah.
And the worst thing is we have solutions.
Yeah.
This isn't like some like thing, and it's like, oh, no one knows how to fix it, and like it's all, we literally have solutions.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you know, when we're talking about methane produced with cows, you know, methane is 85 times stronger than carbon. But they actually found out if you feed this cattle on a seaweed diet, their methane production gets reduced by 99%.
Oh my god.
Just simple thing, like you just don't.
Seaweed, there's tons of seaweed.
Yeah, I know.
There's loads of sea.
I mean,
It's everywhere. Well, we're feeling that too, but
another thing, there's a study in Estonia that when they gave out free public transport, so buses and trains
and stuff, yeah.
it reduced the amount of car transport by 900%. And that then in turn reduced everyone's individual carbon footprint by 77%.
oh my god.
So if you put ours together, which is like a bit over 100, that's
Yeah.
3/4 of our carbon footprint gone just by having free public transport.
That is ridiculous, and definitely people will reduce public
Yeah,
transport.
and they'd get out
Because
more.
no one wants to literally go on the bus and have to pay to
Yeah,
go on
I
a
know.
bus. Like, a bus is not that
But the
cool.
biggest thing is normally when people talk about like giving out free things, the first thing people say is it's going to ruin the economy. We don't have free money. We can't just do that. But in this study, they actually found out that this town in Estonia had actually the highest amount of spending because people were now had given the opportunity to go travel more. That they were more likely to use that spare cash that they would have used on the transport to buy like at restaurants and shops and things. So it actually
Works
works
out in their
more.
favour.
I know.
So why is
It's just things like that. You just
it's
like
frustrating of what is going on. It's just
I know.
oh my god.
Well, on top of that, on top of all this with the government, we also have a huge social and political divide that is just so unnecessary.
Yeah, what is this?
So we have the government just messing up, we have
Yeah.
individuals not knowing what to do, but on top of this
What
we
can we
have
do?
this huge like just divide. And this divide comes from this lack of information, this lack of just misinformation. So for instance, like, what's the first things you guys learn about climate change? Think back to primary school. Think back to like what images you saw to do with global warming. That's what it used to be called, wasn't it?
I will think back to primary school, but there is not much to think about because I never heard about climate change. I've only heard about climate change in the last 3 years maybe, and even 3 years ago I didn't really think about it that much. I was just like, oh okay. But when I was in primary school, there was like nothing to do with it. It was just like the teachers go, reduce, reuse, recycle, you know,
recycle. That
just
was a big
keep
thing.
everything clean.
Like,
Like,
just
nothing
turn the
to
lights
do.
off.
Like, turn the lights off and
Like,
recycle.
make sure you turn the lights. Like, nothing was a problem. It was just like saving things.
Yeah.
Like, and then you'd see these posters with like polar bears and trees and
Cycle sign.
Yeah, everything on them. So.
But that's
It's
what
not
we're
being talked
told.
about
We're
there.
told that that's making a difference. You know, it's like if you recycle, if you turn off your lights, if you use your metal straw instead of your plastic straw. But what people don't understand is that the plastic crisis is completely separate to the climate crisis.
Yeah.
We just happen to live in a world where we have two ecological crises happening at the same time.
Yay.
But the problem arises is when you have people boycott companies for using plastic straws, using the hashtag I'm stopping climate change. People genuinely are thinking, if I use this, metal straw, I'm stopping the heating up of the planet. You could have
Doesn't
a world
work like that.
filled to the brim with plastic. It doesn't affect how much fossil fuels is being used and how hot the planet is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand why people think this because I actually thought this too.
Yeah,
before you
it's
guys
this
said.
miseducation. It's putting the recycling sign next to the melting ice caps with
Yeah.
the polar bear, and you think, oh well, yeah, it just
It's the
melts the
same
thing, and then you actually think about it. And I know whoever's watching this, you're gonna go, oh yeah, it just
makes
clicks.
sense,
It's separate. So it's just this. It pushes people down this random path in an act to try and help. They realise it's not helping. They feel disheartened. It's just a testament to this like lack of education on this topic.
Yeah.
And what's even more is that the metal straws that because you've obviously heard the big straw thing. It's like get rid of
Get your
plastic
metal
straws,
straws.
get your metal straws.
Get your paper straw.
It's a trend now, isn't it?
Metal straws produces more carbon emissions
Yeah.
than plastic straws
Yeah.
because of the
my
metal
goodness,
mine.
that is
It's the same with
ridiculous.
bags. Like when you say, "Oh, use a cotton bag," that produces far more emissions than
Way
using a plastic
more.
bag. And the same with
Yeah.
paper bags. Like we're told that paper bag, oh yeah, that's great. Only paper, that's from trees.
Yeah.
But then that uses way more like fuels and just resources to
biodegrade,
biodegrade
yeah.
that bag than just with a plastic bag.
Yeah,
so
that's
even
great.
if plastic is
It's
worse
just
than
so
solution, it's
confusing.
also worse than
Because it's like,
The
but
bigger
people
picture.
just merge them. I don't blame them
Yeah.
because we're just
We're
told
not
it's this
told,
one
yeah.
thing, it's this one entity. But it's
Yeah.
like, that's the problem. It's like, which do you prioritise?
Yeah,
'Cause
honestly,
it's like,
people do think this, like, because when I'm at work and I'm like, do you want a bag? And they're like, oh no, don't give me a plastic bag, give me a paper one. Oh god, no, we've got to do our bit
for climate
for
change.
climate
Yeah,
change.
and it's a
And it's
different
like- and
thing.
I'm
It's
just
just a
different
different
thing.
thing.
Yeah. And I
And-
didn't know either. I was just like, please don't use a plastic bag. But now I know.
My conspiracy question of the day
Here
is:
we go.
is this a deliberate act by the industries and the companies who own the spread of news to deliberately make it about simple individual things, like it's Margaret's Tesco plastic bag she uses that's killing the planet,
Just on her.
instead of kind of saying that only 100 companies produce 71%
Oh my
of
God.
carbon, all
Insane.
the world's carbon emissions.
Insane.
Oh my
100
goodness.
companies
That's
produce 71% of all carbon emissions.
I could
Or-
name 100
I know,
companies. Should we
yeah.
have a game?
All I'm saying
No, we don't have time.
is
for
that I'm Comcast and I own the spread of news, and I also happen to own 50 of those companies, even 20 of those companies. All I'm saying is I'm much more likely to say it's Margaret's plastic bag and what's that plastic straw you're using? Oh, is that's
Yeah.
causing the problems.
Oh
so,
wow, that
just-
shed some light on the
I know,
situation.
Yeah.
so they want you to be confused. They want you to think, oh, it's this plastic bag we're using and it's this.
Yeah.
Instead of going, hang on, is that company that's shoveling like 20,000 gallons of just like pure oil into the sea?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, it's Margaret's Tesco bag. It's
Oh
like,
god,
yeah,
no,
it
don't
is.
use that straw, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I can't actually believe it.
And then on top of this, you've got just the complete divide this has caused.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Oh my
silly
goodness.
divide this
It's
has caused.
ridiculous. Like
I mean,
I can't believe like we've got Greta, who's a 16-year-old girl doing amazing. Like she started this all off. If you think about it, no, I don't think anyone really like understood climate change before she like brought it up in the news.
in a mainstream
It's
light,
in the news
yeah.
like every night now. I've been watching the news recently. It's been on every day, and
And Greta started that.
Greta started that
thing.
by
Especially
a
with younger
strike from
audiences.
school outside the Swedish Parliament. Like she's literally doing so much, and she's had so much hate. Right?
Yeah.
I don't get it because
Specifically from older people.
yeah, specifically
yes.
from older people.
Older
So
generation.
I watched a video once, and it was a around 30-year-old woman ish, and she titled the video, "Greta Thunberg is a terrible role model,"
Nice.
and she was just picking at every good thing she was doing. So you know she's taken a boat to New York, and it took her 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and she did this to help, obviously, to show that
So
change can be
yeah.
made. Yeah, and this woman was just like saying, "Yeah, it's all fine if she can do that, but like her crew has to be flown over and all that." Like she's just like,
choice.
yeah,
But that's not what she's advocating. She's
Yeah.
advocating
Yeah.
system change.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
point of her thing. But then again, like talking about like political things, it's even been a political divide. There was a Yale study done where they asked Republicans and Democrats like, you know, do you think it's important for a president to care about climate change? And 68% of Democrats said yes, and only 18% of Democrats said Republicans said yes. And it's like, how is that such a big
That's
divide? Like,
crazy.
how
Yeah,
has it become such a big
massive.
divide? I mean, in states that mainly are Republican swung, they actually are the states that are going to be hit first by climate
Yeah.
change because
They're
they're
not
more
helping
middle
themselves.
America states that are hit by
Mm.
hurricanes the most. Florida's a really big Republican state, and that is actually been put down as the main state that will feel it the most because they're by the ocean.
wow,
It's just like
they're
crazy.
really just kicking themselves.
To shoot themselves in the foot.
Oh my god! And then there's something now called the green feminist stereotype.
Oh my god. Yeah.
There's
I'm
even a
listening,
divide.
Like, can you see the smoke?
There's a divide between men and women now to do with this, where it's actually been named as that. It's like a scientific, like psychological name for it, where they've now found out that men are less likely to opt in for environmentally friendly products and food because it makes them feel feminine.
Yeah.
60% more men choose to have a
Oh
plastic
my
bag over
God.
like a reusable bag because literally for the quote it emasculates them.
How is that even a thing, right?
I mean,
I'm not
there's
gonna
a
go.
bigger issue going on. right?
I'm not
masculinity.
going to see a man and he's carrying a plastic bag and I'm going to
He's
go,
so feminine.
oh my goodness, no thank you.
Go
He's
away.
so feminine. Like,
But it's just
I'm
crazy.
going to be like, wow, thank you.
But this is the thing, they want you to be divided. When I was just saying a second ago about the industry, they want it to, there's spread of media, like it's about you and you and you. They want it to be about, oh, it's a man thing, it's a girl thing,
so
it's
the blame
an
doesn't turn onto them.
Exactly. And it's like, this is a time when we have to come together. Like, the biggest power we have, because the confusing thing is, it's like, how do we help then? Because we've just talked about like what we can do as individuals, then we kind of debunked it by saying, you know, governments and industries are the thing.
Yeah.
But like, then you find out your real power is actually just stopping the divide,
Yeah.
bringing it together and moving
Your
collectively,
voice.
your voice, your
Yeah.
actions, your voting actions, make it the forefront of every decision you do.
Yeah.
If a government you're voting for doesn't mention climate policies, you don't vote for
like
them.
the elections coming up.
Yeah.
Think about their climate
If
policies.
you're 18,
look
do
at
it.
them.
If you're 18,
Yeah,
vote.
look at them. Make sure they're the first thing. Don't look at like what Jeremy Corbyn's going to do for the universities, because there won't be any universities soon and the planet's dead because they haven't thought about the climate. Like, think about these things honestly and make that part of your voting system.
But the biggest thing is creating that community and
Yeah.
just bringing
Getting
that together.
Yeah.
But and there's also like the older generation divide. It's
Yeah,
just that's a crazy thing.
Going back to the Greta, I read an article from the Atlantic interviewed her about why she thought older people were against her, and she actually brought up a pretty good point, which, you know, she's similar age, I should probably know this, but she said like a lot of adults tend to think it's always been this way, we can't change it, let's just leave it. And I kind of realisation for me, because my parents have said that in the past about different things.
Yeah.
Oh, just leave it, it's always been like that.
It's worked for me.
Parents,
It's worked for
and
me.
my grandparents,
But
they
it's
say
not
nothing.
working anymore,
No.
and I don't understand why they're
They
not
got to
seeing
live
it.
their life nicely. There was nothing happening. Well, they didn't know about it, but it wasn't as bad.
This is about informing people.
Yeah.
Like this divide, it needs to be informing. When an adult just says, you know, it's always been like this. You have to come with them with the facts.
No.
You go
Listen
listen.
to your parents,
Listen.
but just fight back. You know?
Yeah, honestly, give your view.
If
Honestly,
you've got the logic, don't hide because they're your mum and dad. You know?
It's too late to not take this seriously. It's definitely too late to not think that this is actually a problem. So we need to unite, use our voices and our actions to get the governments to listen to us, because it's all we've got.
And just not think it's this weird issue that like only some people can talk about. You know, it's a leftist thing, or you know, it's this. It's like everyone's going to be affected by this.
It's like not a hippie thing.
Yeah, it's like
that's
not
a big
you know,
deal.
it's like a
You know,
hippie
we
thing, it's a girly thing.
It's
It's
not
like
anyone else.
everyone's affected here, no matter what age you are. This is affecting you. Imagine this is like a war.
We're in one
You wouldn't
world.
sit here if like there's a world war happening and go, oh, but like, is it real though? Like,
I don't see it.
I
I
don't see it.
actually see it in my country.
Like, there's not a bomb in my backyard, so like, is it real?
Yeah.
No, it's not real. I don't see it.
Yeah,
no, it's
no.
not real.
But-
It's not real.
But like, think
just-
about these things. Like when you used to go to primary school, someone would post on Facebook, "The world's going to end tomorrow." You'd all be absolutely so.
Do you remember the 2012 thing? Do you remember how freaked out we were at the 2012 thing?
And I literally had a day off on that day because I wanted to spend my last day with my mum, right?
And people believe that.
And people believe that so easily, and they're like,
Now
"But
scientists.
now there's proof," and they're like,
Because
no,
it's not like almost,
no.
it is visible, but it's not as like scary looking as like a war.
But also what people don't understand is it's going to affect poorer countries first, places like India, like
definitely.
Asia and areas like that.
That's
but,
why UK and USA and China
just
just
like,
don't care. They're just like.
But the problem with that is they don't even realise is that when people cannot literally inhabit those areas, they're going to migrate, and then we have another problem trying to like help these refugees and everything. It's like, we're not thinking.
Yeah,
We're not looking far
no
enough
one's
into the
thinking
future.
logically, and it's not good. Honestly,
Wow.
that was
So,
a whirlwind.
That was episode 1 of Respect Your Mother podcast. So that was pretty crazy.
Thank
We talked
you
about a lot
guys
of things.
for
So
joining
please join us next week where we're talking more detail about the Donald Trump effect and how that affects future sort of climate policies, and also how Brexit will affect European climate deals in the UK, because actually 80% of all of the UK's climate deals come from the EU.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do when we don't need
So,
one?
yeah.
So
Tune in for
join us
that.
next week.
And
Yeah.
don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Respect Your Mother.
And thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.